judgment. These are some of the issues we have under emotional and psychological impact. How about the social and relationship impacts? Of course, there's a strain on relationships with family, friends, and romantic partners. So if you are in a relationship with someone who likes his privacy, but you're a businesswoman and you need to take pictures of your house, put on, there will definitely be a strain on your relationships. How about withdrawal from online and offline social interactions to avoid further abuse? Then we have economic and professional impacts. You have a forced change or halt in career job. So if you were to wake up and decide, I want to be an online influencer, and they've reported your page, there's so many lies, you can't defend yourself, then you must change that career, job, or industry due to the online abuse. How about financial losses due to online harassment, such as damage to professional reputation? Next slide, please. What then can we do to combat digital GBV on the girl child or women? And we know that this requires a multifaceted approach, and this would involve each of us as individuals. It would involve the communities, both online and on ground, and then we need organizations and, of course, the place of the government. Individual actions: we need to report online harassment, cyber stalking, and other forms of digital GBV to platforms, authorities, or support services. I know that most of our social media platforms, with Meta AI especially, they have the report button. But the question is, how many of us know that even exists? Then we need to be able to block and mute perpetrators to limit their ability to harm. We also need to prioritize online safety, learn to use strong passwords, and be cautious when sharing personal information. Critically, we need to listen, we need to believe, and we need to support survivors of digital GBV. Because it is not a thing that we're used to. When they come complaining about it, our response is usually, it's not strong enough to help them through that situation. Next slide. For our community and organizational actions, we need to establish online communities and fora that will promote respect, inclusivity, and safety for women. We need to organize campaigns, workshops, and training sessions for both genders, raise awareness about digital GBV and its impact. Definitely, we need to encourage the men and boys, challenge harmful stereotypes, and support gender equality. How about our technological solutions? We need to incorporate safety features into our digital platforms, such as blocking, muting, and reporting tools. We need to provide tools and resources for digital forensic analysis to aid in investigations and security. For governments, we need to enact and enforce policies and laws that will prohibit digital GBV harassment and cyber stalking, and integrate digital literacy and online safety education into school curricula and community programs. And for collaboration and partnerships, we need to partner with influencers, content creators, raise awareness, positive behavior. Last slide. So the question now is, are you going to transform this thought-provoking session into action? Staying safe online starts with you and I initiating or implementing various online safety measures in order to protect your details, as well as further educate yourself and your community while constantly creating awareness of digital GBV. It's time to unlearn, learn, and relearn. Invest in yourself to stay informed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thought-provoking lecture. I have a 4-year-old daughter who attends Opwa. She saw Madam driving. I went to pick her. I said, I saw my VC. Where? I said, no, VC is my VC. A VC is a Thank you, my vice chancellor of OPA. I will go and tell my, I will tell my daughter that the OPA VC work very well, and I will get a slide. All right. Take an online presentation to be delivered by Professor Adana Henry Ukoha. He is going to talk on women leading the digital frontier, empowering innovation and partnerships in ICT. Ukoha just came back from yes, having how many almost a year or so on Tech Women project, because what it takes women or gender in tech. Ready? Dana. Out your slide. Just speak out the slide. You unmute yourself and let's hear you. We will sit down and one back to you. Is that okay? They're controlling her slides. Okay, keep talking. They are controlling the slides here. Okay, She's going to take 10 minutes opportunity. Three presenters. Yes, yeah. All on the rapporteur. Business hand is open. I hope you are ready. So, she is a young lady. Being a rapporteur does not mean she will know everything. Where the other gurus that are seated have what to add, they will add. So please come and take us in this session. 10 minutes. All the talks that we are done by the three presenters, you summarize and then you take questions. Henry Okoha. Okay. All right, please hold on. We have questions for you. I think we'll start with. All right, okay.
Role of also men leading the digital frontier, empowering innovation and entrepreneurship in ICTs. She took us through the different advancements by women in digital spaces, app development, coding, software development, health sector, fintech, and others. She also explained why women should be involved and showed us the hindrances to reducing this gender gap in the digital space. She also showed us how women can thrive in ICT and encourage more and asked us to encourage more women to come into the ICT space, and this would bring in more women in turn. She asked us to join hands to break barriers. So if there are any questions for any of these sessions, okay, I can already see to
Start with the Vice Chancellor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, the moderator. I thank all the distinguished personalities who are here. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, guys had gone. I want to ask the question to the only one who is still here, which is Professor Henry Ukoha. Now, Madam, you know, we are here to learn. We are here to learn. We are here to see how we can sense, how we can advise, how we can act to change the narrative. I want to commend you for your wonderful presentations. But I have a question. That question is this. You have told us women who are leading in the digital space. You mentioned not quite a few of them. But my question is, please, can you take maybe just one of them? One of them. Give us a bit of the how how they came to a bit, because yes, this person is this, but we are here to learn, and we want to know the how. There are so many people, but these are the people who have made it. There should be something in their history or in them, something that made this how to happen. And that is what will help us here, so that we can follow probably one thing or two about any of them. It can be any of them. What are the things you think surrounding around the person, or opportunities, or whatever happened to make the person become what she is today, so that we here can learn. Thank you very much.
Dr. Henry Okoha, technical. Dr. Henry Okoha. Thank you very much, Dr. Eko, Professor Ekoha, for that thought-provoking lecture and an insight to what one of the ladies is doing in tech, tech in medicine, or medicine in tech, whichever one you want to go with. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Lawrence Makele. I am representing the sole administrator of Obiapo local government area. My question is this. Okay, before the question, I want to say that it's quite interesting session right from beginning, and I did appreciate the lecturers or the presenters that have presented the first two lecturers, and though they are not here, but I think our prof is still online. My question is simple. I want to say that in our society, the expression gender equality has been talked about for decades. The question is, why is it that this catchy term remains like rocket science? I mean, something difficult to handle. Thank you.
Okay. Aha. Forever. Professor Adeshope, gender equality has been on since, in fact, even before Adam was born. Are we going to continue? Because they say leaders, I mean, you are leaders of tomorrow. Now I have gray beards. I'm not a leader. My son will be leader of tomorrow, will have gray hair, not a leader. Is it going to be an end, I mean, an unending talk?
Well, why not hold him brief for the speaker? You will agree with me that the patrilineal system is a major hiccup here. I think that's just the narrative. If we look at it from that perspective, then it just takes the male gender to give. Patrilineal is almost everywhere. It's barely maybe 5, will I say 1% that is matrilineal. Almost 99%. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's leave India out of it. Let's leave some places in area. There's somewhere in Abia State. I know there's somewhere in Benue State, but you can count them. Yeah, there's some places in Bayelsa. It's almost negligible if you look at the matrilineal, but majorly the patrilineal system is what is affecting it. Even when we started our projects, somebody told me to my face, this gender thing you are saying, oh, you stop this joke. Oh. It's not when my wife gets to the house, she starts telling me this. So if we keep looking at it from that direction, we'll never get anywhere. Yes, the thing is we cannot keep talking about it, but we have to continue talking about it. Some persons will still listen. That's my take. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. In the entire scripture, you just hear of, I'm looking for a man, this man, this man. I say, when will God look for a woman? There is a question online. Can we please take it? Okay, Prof. Go ahead.
Prof, I'm sorry. Don't strengthen us too much. All right, thank you. Okay.
That's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we can round up this session. Thank you, Miss Edith Young. Thank you very much. Okay. A round of applause for the three speakers and the rapporteur. So we'll continue. We'll soon round up. Let's take the fourth, fifth, and the sixth speakers. The fourth speaker is no one but Dr. Ugochi Okengo. In fact, this morning she had to drag her husband to come so that the gender will be balanced. She'll be talking on the Beijing Plus 30 imperative, leveraging digital transformation to accelerate gender equality across sectors. She is the head of department computer science. Dr. Ogechi.
Thank you very much. My VC, sir. We're now in the afternoon. So that we'll move forward. I'm here to talk on Beijing Plus 30 imperative, leveraging digital transformation to accelerate gender equality across sectors. Since hearing about gender, what we need to do. Next slide, please. Beijing Declaration was in 1995. I remember when I was small, I heard about this Beijing thing in China that nationalized what the perception about women, what women try to see if they can do to make sure that they are ahead. And it's something for all women and girls the world must deliver. We are not joking here, my dear VC. The world must deliver in this gender issue. They had 12 critical areas of concern for women's rights, which covered girl, child, environment. Heard our amiable wife talk about violence happening around cyberspace. So 2025 marks the 30 years to where we are now. So for a moment of reflection, what have we done? Because we can speak all the grammar here today. What are we doing in our little corners, in our homes, in our community? The digital transformation, which we know, something that has into our lives. It is changing the way we live. I'm sure most of us here that are parents, that our children, they don't ask of toy guns now. They ask for iPad. They ask for one P5 or I don't know. So that's where we are. So the digital tools presents unprecedented opportunities for inclusion, but it's also widening gender gap. We have to be careful. So there are key technologies driving this transformation, which we know. Most of us here in IT know about the mobile and internet connectivity, cloud computing, AI, artificial intelligence that everybody is after now, big data and analytics, Internet of Things, blockchain, automation, and robotics. So, next slide. So, my previous colleagues have told us there's a lot of digital gender divide. And we can see from the statistics we have right-hand side, that women are 18% less likely to own a smartphone. Just think of it. My grandfather in the village, he wants to buy a smartphone. He buy for his grandson. That's his pet. My granddaughter, a smartphone, is to cook in the kitchen. So those are some of the little things that giving us this gender divide. Only 30% of tech jobs are held by women. And it is verifiable that in places like Google, Apple, Facebook, as are all male. I heard my previous speaker talk about what they are doing in the tech world. But high-tech companies by men. Mark Zuckerberg, male. Elon Musk, my son always talks about him, he's a male. It is an intentional, it's not that we keep saying it, but we need to start acting. Unequal access to digital education, finance, health, one of that is giving us these gaps, and we need to look at it. Next slide, please. So I've talked about all the gender gaps in high-tech companies, statistics there, verifiable. Slide. Now, I would like us to pause a bit and look at this particular slide. Societal norms. You give birth to a child, is a boy. There's a hand that is already there to move that child to anywhere he wants to be. Don't know if I'm communicating. Yes. And you can see the lady there. She's the one that will push herself. So women in this room, girl, child, intentional. It has to be something, sleep, wake up, to do something, make a mark, because without it, next slide, please. So the imperative or the action we really need to take, the Beijing Plus 30, which is in 2025, aligns with several SDG goals. Law of gender equality, which the previous speaker mentioned, SDG 9, which is the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And all these things put together will also take us to SDGs, bringing all the SDGs together. So the key tech sectors we really need to target as, because I know all the men here, boys and girls that are in this room, they're interested in this gender gap. We want to stop. We want it to be slimmer over the years. So we need to be intentional to do something. Digital literacy for girls and women is talk about every day, something we act, something. Education and skills, healthcare, financial inclusion, employment and entrepreneurship, governance and leadership. Leadership is very, very key, because I know in my community, if you are asking to get a commissioner, they'll look at the male first. If somebody gives your name as a female, they will say a woman. Woman's idea. There's an adage, there's one statement in my place. When they say it, you know, some sorry for using that word, but I don't know if you understand. When they tell you that you are one Kalab, I'm sure Professor Chima to what I'm saying, because he's from my place. It gives you a particular place. So when men are talking, know where you belong. So call to action. My dear men and boys that are here, there are a lot you need to help us do in this gap. Education and promote digital literacy for girls, scale up STEM education and mentorship, invest in gender responsive tech platforms. Intentional about it. When you want to do that, are you thinking of how will I make sure that in this room, as our dear VC counted, that it will be men that will be there? Our women are in the market buying foodstuffs. Today is Saturday. Yes, because the men need to eat. They are trying to make sure the children wash their clothes. School on Monday. What are you doing? That body in a that she can come part of it. Leveraging AI and digital health platforms, mental health, sexual and rights. For developing, I keep telling people, AI tools, fine. Now we're using are further worsening, enlarging the gender gap. Because when you use the real data, because your model needs to learn from the data, also learn from what it has. And I remember somebody told me that when they developed an AI tool, at the end of the day, that of female they were able to get the loan, their own amount. Okay? Because the data said they used, they had higher wages. So if you use enter 50, it will go down. These are some of the things to look at. Financial inclusion, promote access to banking and credit. Support women entrepreneurs through fintech too. And we all here to today decide that we are going to give our girl child some money to start up something in tech. Next slide, please. So already there are voices out there. There are he for she, men engage, and a lot of things people have. We also heard one man speak when Impact Summit said, when men speak up, shifts the culture. So our men to help us, because when you tell your village head that a woman can also be the village head, that you're a man, and you're saying this, that means it can work. Right, please. So what we're looking for is saying, all these things we're saying, at the end of the day, a situation whereby there will be 50% gender on digital space, where both male and female are involved. So finally, in conclusion, it's a teamwork. I know one of our Professor Amadi, he will always raise his hand and say, you're always talking about girl child. What of the boy child? Unfortunately, 2 days ago, my colleague said something about International Boy Child Day, and I was so happy. So that means it's not a competition, but we're looking at a situation whereby together happy as individuals. So let's accelerate gender equality across all sectors. Gender equality needs all hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ogechi. I try to count the number of Sundays women have in the church. Out of 52 Sundays, about 18 for women. International Women Day. Women Day. I'm serious. But the men, only one. Am I right? But actually, you've spoken to Representative the chairman that when we give birth to the females, they should also on a plot hand. All right. Let me call on the fifth. On that note, I want to call on the next speaker, Engineer Dr. Matthew. He will be speaking on digital literacy as a gender equality imperative, empowering women with essential skills for the 21st century. You have 10 minutes, Dr. Matthew.
All protocols observed, just go straight to the point. Talking on as literacy quality imperative. We are going to look at some technical terms that has to do with digital literacy. I'll start by telling us why digital is also very, very essential. And gender face the future, wait for anyone. That world will not wait for us. Digitally equity. Today we are just talking about something we cannot really pretend about. Are trying to master what it is about digital literacy. I must tell you this, that digital literacy is not just how to use TikTok, how to use Facebook, but we are looking at the skill behind using this technology. And slide, we are looking at that age and its promise. We have a lot of revolution, transformation going on in this digital era. That era we are talking about is not a transformation, revolutionary. As a lot has happened, what is also happening in entrepreneurship. So a farmer can learn about this right from his farm, and even educate that kitchen do digital marketing and do some other digital. So digital literacy to define it also very important. So we need to really have these skills, these digital skills, because these digital skills, we have access to these technologies. Like 3. Look at these statistics. 0.7% fewer women in the internet globally. What I mean by that is that 50% men are using it globally, about 4.3% men are using the internet globally. It means 1 out of 10 girls, 1 out of 10 girls have this access to these educational resources, health informations, and so on. 90% of girls in low-income countries are offline. 90% of low-income countries are offline. 78% of boys in this low-income line. This translates to about 240 million women than men. Why is it that? Why are we having this kind of statistics? One, because of affordability. Somebody mentioned that the female folks tell you it's more expensive to buy the phone, and the men have that affordability than the ladies. Then also men have more access, according to them, to the digital skills than the ladies. Only 28% of tech jobs are held by women. This is also very low. If you look at that digital gender divide, discover that the digital gap between the men and women is about 26%. And some data also has it that it's up to even 30% in the entire world. So how many tech leaders do you know? Mentioned Elon Musk and others, but how many can you say you know as tech leaders? We risk embedding offline bias into this online future. Like the last presenter just mentioned, most of these databases are biased, because the information from the database are mostly got it from men. And that is what you use in developing your app. 327 million fewer women than men use mobile internet. And that is the statistics we have. Slide 4. Why does digital literacy matter for women? Why is it very essential for women? Have the economic importance. Economic importance, women participate more on online marketing, have access to education, improve health, and social political participations. Next slide. Gender impacts of lack of digital literacy. And one of the basic impacts is jobs, high degree of social isolation, and vulnerability to scams, missed education opportunities. So if the digital literacy in the female folk is low, they are going to be having such challenges. The next slide. Okay, this have so much we talked about as the international standards or international frameworks and commitments towards this gender divide. We've talked about Goal 5 and Goal 4, the SDG. We're also talking about even the ITU have this female internet opportunity. We also have what we call the CDAN. This is a treaty fighting against gender discrimination. Next slide. Slide 8. Strategies for building this gap. We have mentioned the STEM education, yes. Laws to prevent online harassment, which has so much been emphasized by the first speaker. Online safety laws, and so on. The next slide. We have basically 5 essential digital skills. I would have loved to spend some time on this. 5 essential digital skills that are paramount or essential. The first one is information literacy. By information literacy, what we mean by that, you should be able to discern from fake and real online transactions. You should be able to know which is real and which is fake. How many of us have these digital skills? We also have what we call the communication, second digital skill. This communication skill that has to do with the Zoom and other online platforms that are used to communicate, that are normally used in communication. We have the third one, which is the tech skills. This is the skills all of us know about, which is how to use the coding, the Python programming, all forms of programming. How many of us, if you want to look at statistically, for ladies that are involved in digital skills, you discover that the percentage is also very low. We also have the fourth one, which is the cybersecurity. How do we protect our data? And how many women, how many ladies have these skills? Statistically, it's still far, far lesser than 30%. But where we have more of the ladies in these skills is the creation of these apps, YouTube channels, and so on. Next slide. So how do we make all these things happen? How do we make all these things happen? We have to introduce other programs, government agencies, the companies, and other duties have to really put this as a front line to see how to involve the gender in this part of, in their policies, policy making, promote digital literacy in schools, and also the private sector all have to also be part of this. So this is what we mean by this. So for digital literacy, what we really mean by digital literacy, if I should define that, is that digital literacy refers to the skill, knowledge, and attitude required to use digital devices, communication applications, and networks to access and manage information more effectively. And let's go to the last slide. The last quote for the last slide, let's quote this together. When she logs in, she writes the code of equality. Because the future isn't written in ones and zeros. It is written by her. Let's reboot the world together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Matthew. Let us reboot the world together. But I think there is a limit to how we can reboot the world. If we reboot the kitchen together, we'll eat digital food. And I'm sure we're not yet ripe enough to eat digital food. All right, on that note, I want to inform us that the next presenter is going to be online, all the way from United Kingdom. We're going to listen to Dr. Anthony Ezenwo from Baltimore University. He is the principal investigator of this wonderful program, Bridging the Digital Gender Divide, Strategies for Equitable Access and Uses. Before he comes on, I want to acknowledge the presence of the sole administrator, Ikwere Local Government, Mr. Christian Isaiah. He is online. Please, a round of applause to Mr. Christian Isaiah, all the way from Ikwere Local Government Headquarters. He's online with us, and I was told he is one of the sponsors or whatever of this program. Mr. Isaiah, thank you very much. Okay. Dr. Anthony. Yeah, Dr. Anthony is online, all the way from UK, Baltimore University.
Okay. Prof, we have your slide. Can you navigate from? Hi, Prof. Can we do it this way? We have your slide. You can talk while we help you navigate. Is that fine? Hello, Professor A1. We can help you navigate your slides while I do the talking. Is that fine? We have your slides already. It's clear. Please go on. Very clear. Prof, please, your slides is very clear. Can go on, please.
Dr. Ezengo, can you hear me, please? Dr. Anthony, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, sorry, we will have to cut you off because you've exceeded your time. "60 seconds to round up." Tony. Thank you very much, Dr. Anthony. We'll always have time to chat with you. This is not the end of Gender Equality Gap Project. Just started. Have a long way to go. On that note, I want to call on Mrs. Leton Rebecca Sereka, all the way from University of KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. She is going to be the rapporteur for the session. So you have 6 minutes to summarize, and then we take 3 questions. She is a doctoral student from University of KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa.
Thank you very much, MC. Let me abide by the existing protocols. I'm going to start with the fourth speaker rather. The first speaker, Dr. Ugochi Ugengu. That's what Dr. Ugochi spoke on the Beijing 30 imperative, leveraging digital transformation to accelerate gender equality across sectors. And she indicated that the Beijing Declaration action was in 1995, that's 30 years already, and there were 12 critical areas for concern for women. She emphasized on the fourth industrial revolution and key technologies, she also talked about how women are underrepresented in the STEM and technology leadership. Dr. Ugochi also spoke on unequal access to digital education, finance, healthcare, and more for women. Women should be able to speak for themselves and break the social norms. Key sectors to target for women: education and skill acquisition, healthcare, financial institution, empowerment and leadership. That there should be investment in inclusion for digital infrastructure. She also talked about accelerated gender equality across all sectors. Now, there was the fifth speaker, Dr. Matthew. Dr. Matthew spoke on literacy as gender equality imperative, empowering women with essential skills for the 21st century. In his talk, he indicated that less women were into digital literacy, and the reason for that imbalance should be looked into. Why is this essential for women? Because of the lopsided application of all the SDGs, in the sense that women are not on the right side. He stated some steps to bridge the gaps: information literacy and critical evaluation, tech skills to be acquired, cyber security, different areas where women are not that functional, though there are so many men in such areas. And he talked about the digital communication skills. Then came the sixth speaker. The sixth speaker talked about, the speaker we have Professor Ellen. Oh, yes. Change. Dr. Anthony Ezenwo, speaking on bridging the digital gender divide, strategies for equitable access and use. And in his talk, Dr. Anthony gave some critical insight, on bridging this digital divide. Talked about the challenges identified. The first case study that was handled at the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria, where they noticed that the policy co-creation work. They had a policy co-creation workshop with students, faculty members, and the administrators. Challenges that were identified were entitlement mindsets, limited female representation in leadership, and policy gaps. They emphasized on mentorship, gender. There should be mentorship for women to be more inclusive in the areas that are deficient, and there should be responsible leadership and gender representation. And he talked about handling this aggregated data.
Thank you very much. So we're going to take two questions. Okay, my Vice Chancellor and the gentleman over there, and then one online. My Vice Chancellor, sir.
Very much. Madam, thank you. No, the questions are not. They are to the present. Can go first. She around or she's around. Okay. Yeah, madam, when you are talking, you talked about Elon Musk and you say these are very high-tech leaders in high-tech. I want to ask a question. Up there, if yes, then number two, you also said, we're talking about today is Saturday. Women may have gone to market. Make sure they are husbands. Probably you are inferring that men are not up there. Some of them. And I want to just put to you, when Professor Henry Ukoma spoke, because of not a few who were up there, I want to ask, is it that these who are up there not go to husbands? They do not their children to school? Okay, so Dr. Matthew, here. Dr. Matthew, you are the assistant director of CITE. Am I right? Right. And when you want to address a gathering where the vice chancellor seated, You said all protocols observed. That is very wrong. Vice Chancellor cannot stand up and you say all protocols observed. What does that mean? President of the Vice Chancellor, you 1 second to say Vice Chancellor and all of that protocols have? That is wrong. Next. But I want to come to your questions. My question, or you don't think it's more than the Vice Chancellor in this? All right, so you can see even though we are not Vice Chancellors, they have gone. Yeah, so because of my interest in the of, is that okay? I don't want to go further. If not, you have to come straight without going on. Tell you how important me as the works. I'm here to encourage all of us. I do this lightly. That's it. Next time. All right, then my question is, we're talking about access, digital access. And you're talking about men, and then you talk about more money, more affordability by men over women. Is it that women don't have money? Okay, maybe you answer. And then lastly to you, talked about 5 essentials of digital skills that are essential for women today. Why women? And this is not essential for men too. Or what is needed for men is different. I don't know. Maybe when you're answering, you provide the answer. Because he said, Anthony. Is Anthony online? Anthony isn't one. I just want to ask. Well, you said that from your research, you discovered digital inequality in Uniport. I want to ask, as you saying this is work in progress, or you have established fact that there's digital inequality in Uniport. I hope he's hearing me, because he has to answer it. When you talk about Uniport, I must find out why. Yeah. But I was a bit relieved when he said, I quote him, that this is an ongoing risk. I'm relieved, which means he has not really established it, that there is digital inequality. But before he can make that statement, he must give me the results and analysis of the report. But I'm relieved now. Ongoing work. So let me leave it there. But on a lighter note, I want to ask Dr. Zenwa. Are you with us? Dr. Zenwa, are you with us? Okay. My question is, please, what is the effect of population on gender gaps? Effect of population gaps. Whether male population, female population, because these statistics people are doing, does it take recognition of the facts of the population, male, female population, or we just look at number? Then finally, exam one, what is the major determinant for smartphone ownership? Thank you very much.
Thank you, my Vice Chancellor. I thought he's just sitting here and resting. I didn't know that he takes notes. His note is longer than mine. Great pen has just come. All right. Oh, yeah. It's one. Don't make, you're not a VC, so I won't, just one.
Good afternoon, VC. Good afternoon. My name is Joe Frank. My name is Joe Frank, student in City. One question. One of the barrier that comes to a room. How can we maybe not? How can we change the narrative?
It's simple. Create another room so that they can leave from the other room and go to that room that you've created. All right, that's on a lighter note. Okay, Dr. Ekwengo and Matthew.
VC questions. I will start by this. First question about Elon Musk and Mark. They are there because our division, just because they are. But oh no, already societal issues faster, easier. And sister, you also heard me say, I showed that picture hand, visible hand, helping men. He said, this will go to women. That means our environment should know that there's something already there for men, naturally. In our communities, back to our villages, elders, they call local community affairs. Still have people that are old, but so that is, and young people, it's not continue this narrative. Let's change it. As much as still go home to our village, let's let them know that these women exist. The other one of going, as on a lighter note, two things, say small drops. That's what makes a nation, an ocean. Homes, our family, help these women. That day, I was speaking with, I said, there's a time I do on my system. I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. Is it. So what we are also advocating my visit should help us provide maybe people that can help us in the homes. When it's time to cook, and also meet your wife in the kitchen and help her out so that she comes out earlier, so that she can also use her digital tools, because it's more digital devices, more aware, participate more. So that is just
so that when you are adding salt, he will add Maggi. Then you also join in paying dowry. Am I right? That you also join in paying. And of course you do in South Africa. In Nigeria we don't. I paid mine fully.
Before that, I visit sir. That one. The issue of stability, I only do research, survey, your reason why the is about having some digital equipment is on app. Maybe that is due to their own preference. Maybe if you have 2 million with you, good enough gadget, use money to buy that smart. Then on the second question you raised on the issue of why women, I mentioned 5 essential skills. That 5 essential skills are also good. And they're also very, but the difference is that high digital divide gap. That was why I brought them out to priority. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Anthony Ezengo, please, can you respond to Go ahead, please. I can hear you. Thank you very much, Dr. Anthony. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time and collaboration with the University of Port Harcourt, all the way from UK. My Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I want to sincerely thank you for your time, your patience, and everything. We are on the last lap. The next 35 minutes, we will be out of this place. I want to call on the next speaker. He will be talking to us on data disaggregation by gender, unveiling inequalities and informing action. Professor Mary Iwunda, the Director, Information and Communication Technology. Professor, 10 minutes.
You can see the bias already. You heard him. He referred me to as he. The Vice Chancellor of Ade University, the center leader, the representatives of sole administrators, professors present, and everyone. I can now say all protocols duly observed. Good afternoon. All right. Thank you for this privilege. I will actually. All right, I'll be looking at. Well, let me start by saying that there is good news, actually. Nigerian technology landscape, an exciting transformation. However, women are still significantly underrepresented. So today I'll be using data, talk on aggregation by gender, unveiling inequality in actions. I will try not to repeat so much that had been said, but permit me to mention that digital technologies hold immense power to transform society. And having a woman on the team of men means there is a unique voice. And I put rightly, having such multiple unique voices bring about innovative solutions. As, according to Karen, women's perspectives are needed to create optimal solutions. Okay? There are many factors that influence the digital divide. Pre-existing gender biases, stereotypes, limiting women's roles in technology, on the representation of women in STEM fields. Let me say girls and women, STEM fields. We have this long-standing belief that STEM fields are actually females. It has affected us. If a child is born now, if a child is about to go to the university, parents are thinking, as a female child, go and read medicine. Okay, no one even talks about engineering. Very rare. That men are meant for engineering and all those tech-related courses. So in that way, females lack encouragement from families and societies to develop their digital skills. We're actually going to see how it's playing out in the University of Port Harcourt data that I use. Yeah? But let me also mention that it is not only particular about the University of Port Harcourt, across the entire world. So that is why United Nations considers gender equality as very important. I was happy that the theme for this session is actually gender equality. I don't know why I was asked to speak on the negative aspect, which is inequality, but we'll try to harness all of them, right? So, what's data disaggregation? Can we actually attain equality? That's the question we need to ask. When we have, for instance, someone comes in here now and asks, how many people attended the event of today? Say, okay, 70 people attended, and you'll be excited, we had an achievement. But the question to ask, how many females were in attendance? How many males were in attendance? So that data is able to separate that entity that brings insight about male and female in participation. So, closing the gender gap in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics requires breaking stereotypes, promoting female role models to inspire girls, supporting women's advancement through targeted programs, and fostering environment, policies, actions that promote ocean diversity and equality. Okay, so we will be talking about disaggregation by age. That's when you separate the entire data sets into male and female, all right? Into gender, male and female, right? There are already some organizations that are doing well, like you have the Tech Women, you have the OWSD, that are trying to bridge the gender gap in STEM education, all right? So we try as much as possible to address gender equality by making women and girls become more visible in data sets. I decided to take a look at admission requirements because I'm thinking, if women are not trained in the tech fields, how will they actually take on positions, management positions in tech industry? So I look at the enrollment of students in STEM fields, particularly computer science, cybersecurity, mathematics, and engineering subjects from 2020, 2024, a Uniport perspective. So you can already see the orange bar speaks of males and the green bar speaks of females. I don't need to convince you, it's already very obvious there. All right, so you can see computer science, 84% males and 16% females, duration of study. Cybersecurity is not different, 91 males, 9% females. You can see, anytime you see the orange, that speaks of males, and the green speaks of females. You can see that the pattern is the same. You can see for chemical engineering, electrical engineering, electronics, civil engineering, petroleum engineering, gas engineering, mechatronics, not different even from mathematics. So you find out that the world has a gender equality problem, and STEM fields seem to mirror gender bias in our society. I tried to look at the trends, enrollment by gender for the period of time. You can see the gap, that gap. We need to close this gap. If we close this gap, we are towards attaining gender equality. As much as we allow this gap to exist, we may not be able to attain that, okay? So you can see this, you can see the gap, you can see the gap. Okay, so it goes on. What's the take on this? Globally, women are underrepresented in STEM fields. They represent 1/3 of researchers in the STEM field. And about 12% of members of National Academies of Science are women. So I attended a program in Abuja very recently, directors of ICTC in Nigeria, and I was amazed. You could barely see females. barely see females. Okay, so are there some interventions towards gender equality? Yes. Take this. So you could see this, and I had to remark on this. Men hardly see females. So are there some interventions towards gender equality? Yes, there are. We need to break down stereotypes. Let girls have equal access to STEM fields as boys. Empower them through technology. Identify girls that are good, girls who code for scholarships and empowerment. Let's have a change in legal and policy frameworks. I saw a case of Norway where they have gender quota for corporate boards. You also know in admission processes in Nigeria, what is called educational disadvantage and all that. So there could also be flexibility to accept women, girls, into the STEM field, engineering, IT, mathematics, and that. Then let men serve as roles. The role of men in gender equality. Say no to gender disparity. Advocate for and support gender equality. So run several initiatives to attract talented women and girls with a background in science and technology. Promote women leadership to champion works in skills. Promote girls in tech initiatives, attractive admission and recruitment plans. Support women in STEM fields to have access to various management positions and serve as role models to girls and other females. I've had conversations with females, and I have seen the cry of females. They have a lot of frustrations. The academia in as well. So you find out that they feel that the work in the tech industry is actually for males. Sadly, it's not just in Nigeria, it's everywhere. In the USA, the main reason, even by women, for leaving their job in the tech world is a sense of being undervalued because they are considered as female. Nigeria is not different. Okay? So I have this I must read. When I chose to become an engineer, I was prepared for the long nights of study, the complex calculation, the demanding research. What I was not prepared for was the subtle and often at times bullying that will come from being a woman in a male-dominated field. From the early days of my career, I encountered resistance, not because of incompetence or lack of drive, but because I dared to exist in a space some believe I did not belong. So you find out that this is actually the frustrations women feel, even when it goes on to the family. So the family needs to encourage women. He says, the moment I chose to read engineering, my dad got very displeased with me because he preferred me to read education to become a teacher. This strained the relationship. In conclusion, gender equality is a core issue for the United Nations. As we celebrate the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, we are reminded that closing the digital divide is crucial. Family units, governments, and society play a pivotal role in eradicating gender inequality. Let us commit to a future where everyone, every individual, regardless of location, gender, is connected, empowered, and has equal rights. Happy World Telecommunication and Information Society Day.
Thank you, Director, and apology for addressing me. Maybe because I know you're going to deliver a powerful lecture, and I was expecting a man to do it. You know, we have so much respect for women, and we don't want them to suffer climbing poles, fixing electricity, carrying corpses in mortuary and what have you. So they should just study education, sociology, psychology. Aha. All right. It's because of the love we have for you people. And allow us to do the dirty job for you. Can imagine carrying hammer, sledgehammer, some things on that truck. All right. Just as it will look odd if you see me doing a cooking competition. I beat Mr. Easily. Am I right? Huh? You see, there are few. And let them not cross border. Let them carry the sledgehammer. All right. On that note, I want to call on the next speaker. He will be talking to us on the role of 5G and future network in bridging the gender digital divide. Put your hands together as I call on Dr. Mrs. Nkolika Nwenzo, Head of Department, Electric. Now, woman. Now, no, now. All right. I almost say, let him come and take the podium.
Good afternoon, my Vice Chancellor. My Dean, so I can't, without mentioning my Dean, that's my direct boss. Vice Chancellor. And the Center Director, all they were celebrating all the all about our department. And before I proceed, slide, I want to somehow speak on behalf of my digital vice chancellor. Said leadership that it seems as if there's gender bias. Yes, we are not much, but the three women seated here are all appointees of the vice chancellor. Thank you, sir, for that opportunity. All right, so we want to look at the role of 5G and future networks in bridging the gender. I will not go into defining what gender digital divide is, because most of the speakers have done. They've given statistics. The last speaker gave us statistics. But the major challenge women face, actually, accessing internet, we've talked about it, cultural barrier around you today. The population in this, we have more males than females. Engineering field, they gave you the statistics. It starts from admission. It starts from even when the child is small. If a young girl is touching electronic gadget, the mother will quickly say, please go out before it shocks you. But they allow the male to explore because they feel they can control what they are doing. But I want to tell us that the norm is changing because we have a lot of daring women these days. The Vice Chancellor asked about affordability. I was discussing with Dr. Kembu. Said that if you see a woman buy a phone of 1.5 million, the man that gave her the money. Because the money we generate. So because of the cultural bias, if a woman earns money, your first thought is, my children, if you're married, my parents, if you're not married. Then after that, you think about what will I wear so that I will look for the man. So you see that the gender bias started from when we were nurtured. So we have infrastructural limitations. A lot of places in our nation do not still have enough internet access. Dr. Matthew talked about the digital tracing, and then our vice chancellor's wife talked on science abuse that women face. Some of these things are challenges we face in our state. We can see the three major things that we. Right, so talk about 5G. We're talking about the fifth generation wireless networks or technologies. I want you to know that currently we are moving towards the sixth generation. Work is already on that. So, but it's still an emerging technology because it's yet to be. So there is projection that towards 2030 we'll have 6G. Yes, we may say there are challenges, but an adage will say that you won't use because you will be shot or you will be killed and you will not go for a battle. We'll get there and we'll overcome just like we overcame when 5G was installed. They have the 5G technologies offer very high speed, massive capacity, ultra low latency. Talk about latency, we talk about the delay that you encounter before you actually transmit data. You notice when the Portsmouth University lecturer was talking, and even Professor Danna, there was much delay. She was, having a lapse before hearing us. The 5G offers us very low latency, so that as you're speaking, your audience is hearing you, which is what we need of men or female gender. So future technologies are talking about those technologies that are emerging. For instance, we have situations, so because of our limited literacy, there are certain surgeries you need to conduct. You've seen robots conducting surgeries. They are trying to move into that. That's an emerging technology. You talk about digital twins, where you have a virtual representation of what, then everybody knows about AI. So our current technologies, they are also emerging. So our future as a world or a technological world is an intelligently connected world where everyone has access to education, whether it's physical or it's virtual by any means. Healthcare, very good healthcare, then entertainment, work, and more through smart connected devices. You talk about IoTs, and then the devices connecting hands. So these are some of the key features of digital 5G for digital. It offers you up to 20 gigabit speed. So when you have higher speed, transmission of data is faster. Then higher bandwidth, which means you can transmit massive data. Okay, and you know, most of the things that you watch the presenters, the pictures and things they are displaying here, those are heavy data carrying information, so which needs very high bandwidth that is offered by 5G. I've explained latency and reliability. When we are talking about the digital divide, it's not all about accessing internet capacity, but what's the quality of the internet facility accessed. So if the quality is poor, there is still a digital divide, because the data is actually turning down. More people are having devices, but you have a device. What's the quality of the signal that you receive? Then deployment flexibility. So look at the key supports the emerging technologies like telemedicine, I've said, robotics. Some Nigerians already have robots. Even in Sita here, you build and use robots. So if we are to power such devices and connect them online, 5G and the emerging technologies to that. Then enhanced mobility, edge computing, where you process at the point of generation. That's enhance or enable real-time communication or real-time processing of information. So we have smart cities. Nigeria, I think I saw somewhere in Port Harcourt where they put a fence, smart, going towards airport, like a smart, like that. So it's 5G and 6G that will end. So coming to that digital divide, so we need to make internet affordable. Let the government bring up policies. I'll try to match things because of my, that will allow internet facility networks to go into the rural places where most of our women are. Somebody talked about women in the other room. It's culture that makes some of us not to work, not because we don't have the capacity. So let internet be cheaply available so that while they are in the other room, they will still be working and they will be assessing whatever is happening in society. So empowering female entrepreneurs. So I am happy most of the female in engineering, they are techpreneurs. So they don't just study, but in their rooms as they are studying, they are also working with their computers. I know that one of the tech programs we had, our digital vice chancellor's daughter, who was just in secondary school, participated, and she really did well. Then digital literacy and content creation, then enhanced security and safety. So let's create room where they can be mentored online. Some of the people we need to even push them to use technologies may not be readily available to them, but if you have internet access, we encourage our women. I want to plead the men here, since we by nature, our African culture, cannot use our money to buy good food. I want to encourage the men, support us by buying the goods for us so that we can have access. I believe I'm speaking the mind of the women here. So that's a sector-specific benefit. I think one of the speakers talked about this. So you see the benefits of 5G. Different sectors, in industries, manufacturing, and the rest of them. 5G is powering agriculture. I saw agriculture lecturer, professors, seriously powering what you. Next slide, please. So these are some of the policy recommendations. There should be targeted regulations. We have representatives of Obia or Ikwere, so I believe that means government is represented. Please create policies that will allow digital inclusion, that will take internet to our women in the rural communities. Let's incorporate all. An investment in digital literacy. Let there be training. My president for OWSD is here. Usually have a yearly program, Tech Girls Boot Camp. So that's part of what we are talking about. Let there be more that we encourage them to participate in the STEM field. So in measuring progress, says disaggregated data for informed policy making is very important. Let's track the progress with gender-specific indicators. So finally, I want to say, I usually tell people when we talk about gender bias or gender digital divide, yes, it's focused more on women. But I want to also speak for the boy child because I have boys in my house and I have men. Let's remember that gender is either male or female. So it can be both ways. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking on our behalf. My mama gave birth to 8 children, 7 boys. So all this while, I was like, so my mom has now lost 7. But now that you said we are included, thank you very much, HOD E&E. Yes, we reserve the masquerade for the last, having listened to 2 powerful ladies. And so we said the masquerade now will now shake and shake and shake and do the dancing. And he will close the ceremony. In fact, I will give him endless time, but it shouldn't exceed 10 minutes. I say I will give him all the time, but it shouldn't exceed 10 minutes. Okay, sir. All right, sir. All right, sir. My Dean Engineering, he is coming up here, Professor U.A. Kamalu, Dean Faculty of Engineering, to talk on designing gender-inclusive digital infrastructure and technologies. My Dean, sir, 10 minutes.
Vice Chancellor, sir, let me start on the protocol. And let me thank them for last. Talk on design. When you talk about design, you are talking of engineering. This is design. What are we designing? When you talk design, is that is the bedrock of engineering, and it's starting of everything. When you design and you design it to be gender bias, design it. We to start design at the basics. Everybody, ability, and those I can be able to slide. Well, I'm going to outline here the outline. What is design? Designing gender inclusive structure, that you are designing a system accessible, stable, that will be fair for everyone, regardless of the person's side. Now, for you to achieve that design structure, design objective, and one of these objectives is that it must be of high performance, gender inclusive, must be adaptable, there must be security, integrity. Now, it must meet as goal, that is, that we use their own and can be easy and repeated. Now, for design method that we call methodology, and that's a systematic way of doing it. Now, the method must be one that if 2 persons are using that same method within the same environment and the same problem, they should be able to achieve the same or similar result. Next. Now, one of the qualities of good design is that it must be accurate. That means that it should be able to do the work. It must be efficient, and it must perform the function for which it is designed for. It must be reliable, it must be efficient, And that efficiency, when I talk about efficiency, it means efficiency in performance and efficiency in use of material, because the material you use determines the cost. You cannot design something that is very costly and not affordable to the users. So it must be understandable. That means you should be able to communicate to others. Other person can read it, understand it, and follow the step and achieve the same result. It must be modifiable. That means that there should be room for change. There should be room for improvement. There should be room to include future structures into it. Now, it must be timeless. It must meet the time constraint. Economically means that it has to be cheap. It must be affordable for everyone, regardless of gender. Next slide. Now, looking at the topic, designing gender-inclusive digital infrastructure and technology. Now, the process of creating a system or a plan, a concept, or an idea that solves a particular problem. And for you to create it, or for you to design, you must first of all understand the need of the problem. There must be need to understand what you want to design. You must do research, you must gather information and insight. It must be innovative. That means you must have idea of what you want to do. Then after designing, you test it by developing a prototype. A prototype is not actual design. It's what you have done that you can test and see if it was, means that when it is fully done, it can do the same work. You have refining. That means you test and retest and make corrections before the final design. Next one. Now, when I talk about design, it can be applied in every field, in engineering, in architecture, in graphic, everywhere. Designing involves everything, right? Now, for effective design, it requires creativity. It must be original, innovative. It should be a problem-solving skill. It has a problem that we solve. You don't just design engineering without solving a problem or having any problem in mind. You must give attention to details as to meet the objective of the design. It should be understandable of users' needs. It must be easy to learn and operate by everybody, not minding gender. You must be user-friendly and not discriminatory to a gender. Iteration and feedback, you get feedback from the users and make corrections before the final implementation. In summary, the goal of a design is to increase a system that provides solution to a problem, and that system must be functional, aesthetically pleasing, economically friendly, that means affordable, it's easy to use and learn, it consumes less power, and it must meet the user's needs. Next one. I want to talk about gender. What is gender? Because gender, from creation, we have the male and the female. Now the world has created another gender, which is called the non-binary gender. But in this topic, I'm concentrating on the male and female. Just like the last speaker said, the gender can be biased towards female. It can equally be biased towards male. So gender refers to socially constructed characteristics, rules, behavior, and expectations associated with being a male, female, or other gender identities. Next one. So for you to define gender, maybe a person's internal sense of being either male, female, both, neither, or sometimes something else. So the expression is how a person presents himself. So the gender is how the role of a gender is just the male and female, which is what we're looking at. And inside the male and female, we have also disabilities. That disability can be either on the male or on the female. So for your design, it must meet that objective of meeting the male gender, the female gender, the male disabled person, and the female disabled person. Next slide. So for you to design a gender inclusive system, you must have respect, you must respect diverse gender identities, you must avoid assumptions, you must use an inclusive language that is respectful, that's not abusive, must provide equal opportunity for every person to use. You create safe spaces, that means to foster environments where individuals can be used and support it. Next one. So In gender inclusive design approach, it promotes diversity. So that means it's not only tailored towards a particular gender. It's inclusive, there's equity, there's respect, there's understanding. And once it's done, the benefits you get that it will reduce discrimination and marginalization of any of the gender. It increases sense of belonging. It fosters creativity and innovation, and it improves overall well-being. That's one. Therefore, when we have a gender-inclusive system, it includes education in workplace, in communities, in design and infrastructure development, online platforms. In designing, the designer must strive to create an inclusive environment that values and respects everyone. That's one. Now, when we talk about digital, the word digital. Now, in electronics, we know that digital is a system. It just has two values. It is either 1 or 0. It is either true or false. It's either male or female. So in digital, there's no intermediary value. You can never say it's 1.5 or 0. So that means that in real life, gender is just for either male or female. And the non-binary issue does not affect the digital system. So for digital system, you have it in computers, in smartphones, in internet, digital information such as data and so on, online platforms, social media, and so on and so forth. Next one, let's go to the next one. Now for digital infrastructure, we're looking at digital infrastructure refers to the underlying systems, the networks, the technology that is used to drive the communication. And this includes internet connectivity, we have the networks, we have the data storage, cyber security, digital platforms. Next one. So the digital infrastructure we're looking at is very critical for economic development, for education and learning, healthcare and telemedicine, communications and social interaction, business operations and innovations. I've just started to go to the next step. Let's go to the next one. Next one. Let's move fast. Up to the next slide. So go. Let me give you the steps in designing. Let me look at the steps in designing digital systems. Start. Okay, let's go to conclusion. Go up. So, no. Okay, sir. By designing a gender-inclusive digital infrastructure and technology, organization can promote social inclusion, improve user experience, reap numerous benefits from increased accessibility to economic benefits, and improve safety and security. Inclusive design can help reduce existing gender disparities in access to digital technology. It will empower women, girls, men, and other genders to participate fully in digital society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my dean, and coincidentally, he's the last speaker. As soon as Trump assumed office, he said, in America, there are only 2 gender, and he's re-echoing it today. All right, I want to call on the rapporteur for this session, Dr. Ogunlewe Yinka. You have 5 minutes. 5 minutes to tell us everything about the 3 speakers, and then we take 2 questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir, my distinguished Vice Chancellors, the professors all present, the director of the center, distinguished colleagues, students of the center also. Good afternoon. The 7th speaker, Professor Nwudo, dwell on data disaggregation by gender, unveiling inequalities and informing action. She was able to emphasize that women perspectives are needed to create optimal solutions to all challenges. And then she mentioned some courses that are gender-based, using Uniports, where most of the courses that are STEM related had more men than women. Then she was able to come with intervention needed towards gender equality, which includes breaking down the stereotype, empowerment through technology, legal and policy framework needed, promoting women leadership, and then promoting girls in technopreneurship. He listed some female frustrations in tech space, and then said that gender equality is a core issue that must be addressed by the United Nations. The eighth speaker, Dr. Nwazo, spoke on the role of 5G and future networks in bridging the gender-digital divide. She related all the challenges faced by women, which includes cultural barrier, affordability, and online safety concern. And then she gave three main factors fueling such, that includes lack of internet connectivity, lack of affordability, and lack of skills to navigate this connected world. She dwelled on the 5G advantages and the future technologies that is associated with it, which includes the AI, the IoT, and the smart city. Then she gave the advantages related to 5G, higher speed, higher bandwidth, low latency, and reliability and scalability. Then she mentioned finally the key roles of 5G in digital, which is making internet available, telemedicine, edge computing, and then finally benefits of 5G, which includes healthcare, education, agri, and then made some policy recommendations. Finally, my dean, Professor Kamalu, spoke on designing gender inclusive digital infrastructure and technology. He gave the process needed for designs, and that all designs must be inclusive and should be all embracing. Then she mentioned some qualities of good design, that all designs must be smart and efficient and must be affordable. Then summarily, she gave the functions of what is needed in the digital infrastructure world to be functional, aesthetics, and then it should be economical. Finally, on digital infrastructure, he said there must need for us to provide more internet connectivity, data storage, and cyber security. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, as usual, I will give, my Vice Chancellor, okay.
Thank you. Let me also just ask these three last speakers. Professor Wundu, you know, an earlier speaker has told us here that when men speaks, the world listens. But you told us women's voices are unique. Probably we'll reconcile the two, what exactly it means. Now, talking on equality, I want to ask you this question. If both males and females are given equal opportunity, for example, to attend this event, and when we get here, you do your statistics, and out of 70 persons, only 25 are female. Who is to blame? Is that also gender inequality? Is that gender inequality in data? Okay. How do we close the gap in enrollment? How do we close, because you talk so much about the gap in enrollment, how do we close the gap in enrollment? Probably you tell us to lower JAM score, or I don't know, whatever, but you tell us how to close the gap in enrollment. Then, when I went outside, NTA was interviewing me, and the NTA guy told me that I should address the issue of why there was no male disciple in the disciples of Jesus. And I asked him, does he know about Mary and Martha? No, not also. They were closer to Jesus than the disciples. In fact, to tell you what happened, for their sake, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. There is no man for whom Jesus raised anybody. So you should know what it is. Okay. So, in Kollega, my question for you is very simple. According to you, you said, when women get money, there are two things they do. If she's not married, she thinks about her parents. If she is married, she thinks about her children. So going forward, married women actually do not think about their parents, but only their children. So why do we men spend so much to educate our female children? If once they marry, they will not remember us again, and they will remember only their children. Please, you have to rephrase this thing home so that I don't go with this anger now and then begin to do something else. You have to paraphrase it. Then still to you, colleague, how does 5G, in your understanding, just tell me, does 5G bridge digital divide or gender digital divide? Because from your talk, I don't know where gender really came in. Does it bridge the digital divide or gender digital divide? Then finally, so far, we've had 9 sections. And out of these 9 sections, 5 women presented. And only 4 men also presented. Is this gender equality or is this gender inequality? The women will answer for me 5 against 4. Then my dean, the only question I have for you is this. You said a design should not be discriminatory based on gender. How do you mean? Thank you.
Thank you, my Vice Chancellor, sir. I'm taking only one. Okay, I'm closer to this one. Just one question. You're not a VC, so one.
Good afternoon, my distinguished VC. Let me stand on existing protocol. My question is to Dr. Nkolika. She talked about Tech Girls Group Camp. Dogma, what is it about? And what is the criteria to be a member of the Tech Girls Group Camp? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So who do I start with? Gender inequality. Let me start with the man.
Vice Chancellor, sir, in engineering, when we are designing to solve a problem. We don't design that will solve a problem of a man and leave that of a woman. We don't equally design to solve a woman's problem, even the man's own. Now, if we are designing, we must make sure that anybody can use it. Male, female, disabled persons. So you put all the features that makes it available for any of the gender to use. Anybody who's disabled can use. Yes. You can program the design.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, dear Vice Chancellor. It's actually true that women offer uniqueness. Yes. So I like the fact that you've included women in your leadership. That is actually very wonderful. It's transformative. I remember being the first female director of IPTTO, and I was very passionate. I didn't know much about patents, but I had to enroll in a lot of programs to teach me to have awareness on patents and other copyrights. And I must let us know that because I'm a woman and I sought for change, we won as the best patent office in Nigeria. That's University of Port Harcourt. That is my staff saying that she's aware of it. So women bring such, and I really appreciate you for that. Now we have in admission enrollments, we have what is called quota. We have educationally disadvantaged groups, that states, for instance. Also, you find out that if, for instance, medicine is taking a cutoff point of maybe, let's say, 330, there's something about the educationally disadvantaged people who come in with a score not as high as that. You understand, okay? So Norway did something like that for gender quota for corporate boards. So we can actually have gender quota for admission into tech fields, STEM education. That is the only way we can achieve it. Okay? STEM education, engineering, computer science, artificial intelligence. We can have that. So it prioritizes female coming into it because we have seen that females are not into it. It's not as if females don't apply to come into these programs, but somehow the merit points, the cut-off points may not enable some of them who have lower points to come in. The same way it has been relaxed for people in educationally disadvantaged states, it can also be relaxed to accommodate women. When I was in Abuja last week, I mentioned it in a meeting where NUC was present, NCC was present. I raised this because if we must attain gender equality in these STEM fields, then something must be done on our policy. Thank you, sir.
And then we'll also do marking scheme based on gender inequality.
Okay, thank you once again for this opportunity. My Vice Chancellor, sir, let me rephrase. Actually, I was just specific on the major thing that bothers them. A woman generally thinks about family, whether male or female, whether father, mother, children, husband. If you want to do an experiment, enter a supermarket, married or unmarried, enter a supermarket. Yes. The woman thinks about all before herself. That's the message I'm trying to pass. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, sir. Thank you for bringing me back to correct that. So the main thing is that we think about others before ourselves. Then the second question is about 5G. 5G actually helps close the digital divide and also the gender digital divide. Because the only difference, all is digital divide. The only difference now is that in gender digital divide, we are talking about the fact that women are less represented in the digital world. That's their internet, their access to internet connectivity is lower than that of men. So it closes the gap by affording high speed internet connectivity wherever they are. So women can access that more. So it affects both. So because without closing the digital device, you can't talk about gender. I don't know if I've answered that. Then for the Tech Girls Boot Camp, it's actually an annual program of Organization of Women in Science for the Developing World, Uniport chapter. So and we are happy our digital vice chancellor is always there to encourage us. Our president is here, Dr. Ugochi Okembu. Okay. So it's yearly. We've done this year's or next year we'll have another one. So if you are a woman in science, but the condition is that you must have minimum of master's degree to join the organization. So you're welcome to join us. You will know more about the organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think you are also saying when women give birth, they should stop carrying kai to the men and inviting the women to do omugo. Well, that is where the real thing happens. In the omugo, am I right? Have you tried us before? All right, thank you very much, my digital vice chancellor, the senior colleagues here, the lead speakers, and the student. We've all done well. We've all done well. On that note, I want to call on Professor O.M. Adeshope, a member of council, my employer, to come and give the closing remark. It's been a wonderful session. My employer, sir, I wouldn't want to give you time, but I think 2 minutes is okay.
I won't take 10 minutes. But you know I cannot employ you alone. Good afternoon, everybody. I really want to thank you all for this wonderful event. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, thank you so much for gracing this occasion. In fact, one of my colleagues from Calabar online, he said, "Oh, you mean your VC? He's been online. Your VC has been here since morning." Damn, he couldn't believe it. So thank you so much. And I told him, well, it's one man that you just cannot understand how he does it. We want to thank you so much. Our sole administrator representatives, the sole administrator of Ikwere LGA and Obiakpo LGA, we want to thank you for coming also. Our speakers, we cannot thank you enough. We appreciate your resilience. I know we've been bombarding you in the past weeks with messages, and we are grateful. Really, the presentations were wonderful. We really must thank you for this opportunity. And we are hoping to compile all of this after going through some editorial works to make it into a compendium at the end of the day. Just to summarize what we have been discussing since morning, what we are trying to do is to ensure that we allow the voices to be heard. What we have been trying to say here today regarding gender equality is to break down the barriers, no matter how small, to break down those barriers and also amplify the voices. We need to hear the voices. We need to talk about it. I think that's the only solution. Because like we talked about the patrilineal system, it has always been there. It will not change. It's not about to change. But the cry, or is it a call to action, as many of our speakers had mentioned, is to allow the other gender to have a place. Let's work together. And that's the only way. I want to thank our Vice Chancellor. It's been so wonderful. In the course of leadership endeavors in the University of Port Harcourt, with our women folks being adequately represented. I remember when the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, emphasized the 35% affirmative action. Suddenly, we didn't hear about that again. But we thank God that is fully, adequately represented in the University of Port Harcourt. So we want to commend the VC and his team for that. So, like I said, the summary of it all is let's amplify the voices, let's break down the barriers. I wouldn't want to say more than that. And on this note, I want to thank you again for coming. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Oyema Deshope, the convener of this great meeting. My Vice Chancellor, sir, I can't thank you enough. Honestly speaking, you know, when you came in, let me tell you something. As Professor, your wife was leaving, we say, hey, VC will soon leave now. I say, why don't let her not speak so that we can pin him down, not knowing that he was going to stay till the end. Honestly speaking, I lack words, but thank you very much. If I were an Ikwere man, I would have said Mecca. Aha, I've said it. All right, thank you. The owner of this car, Toyota Camry Gold Color, Rivers BNY 162AA, you are blocking someone. Please go and repark. On that note, I want us to be on our feet so that we can take the university anthem and then close for the day. But we will all go down and take a group photograph. Those online can take theirs and send to the center leader seated. But those of us on physical, will go down and take group photograph. University anthem. Thank you very much. Please, let's go down. After the Vice Chancellor and the lead speakers, then, the Chairman, Ikwere, Obiakbo, and Co., then we follow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to carry your food, please. Any food left will be mine.